What you're looking at right there, that's the Holly hydromat, and that's that little thing on the bottom, and all that other stuff in the bottom of the cell is debris. So there was really some odd stuff in that cell that should not be there. So what I'm thinking that was is I noticed the hydromat, normally that thing like stays to the bottom, and that thing came with this weird glue stuff to glue it down to the cell on the four corners of it. And I think what happened was, I think that glue broke off, and all those little flakes, I think some of that is from that glue. So when I go and put it back in, I'm not going to do the glue. And if you notice, I have a round, really thick round washer on there that's hose clamped. And what that thing does is it actually keeps my, wherever the gravity is in throwing my angle on everything, the pickup's always like hitting that area so we don't run out of gas. So right now what I'm doing is I am cleaning the cell, and then I have a new piece of fuel tube I'm going to replace for the pickup, because every like 2 years I replace that so it doesn't just like collapse on itself. And then I have the Holley laser fuel level sending unit that I'm going to replace with the old one with the float, and then putting foam into the cell. Okay, so this is the Holley hydromat that just came out of there. You can barely see the laser etch on there, but anyways, so this is it right here, and you can see these are what was glued down to the cell, and you can tell they just came right out. And this is that little deal I was telling you right here, little weight, and it keeps, if I'm like sideways, you know, this will go down too if needed. But what I'm noticing, this thing's got like, let me get this off. Come on. This thing's breaking down. It's torn right there. I mean, maybe it, no, that doesn't even touch right there, so that's not what did it. This is all torn on there. Again, it doesn't even line up with this. No. There's one of those flakes right there, like that. You can see like that's what was in the cell. Even the bottom of it, it's breaking down too. There's a lot of fibers coming off all the ends and everything too. So yeah, I'm not saying it's no good or nothing, but these things are pretty expensive, and you know, it's falling apart, but it does its job. All right, there's the housing I'll put in there. There's quite a bit more clearance underneath everything, because I removed the crack in the smash section, and then yeah, so it's back up under the car. So now what I need to do is get the diff cover on. Let's go and do that. So what we're going to use on the diff cover, it's called the right stuff. It's the black. This stuff seals up really quick, so you got to be, you know, ready to use it really quick. But this is the only thing that I find that will somewhat hold a leaking diff cover on better, because these are all going to leak. And due to the fact that we did the shave kit, we can't use that loop blocker gasket that I was looking forward to trying, but sometimes you got to make sacrifices. is that. Dropping stuffs. So with this diff cover, I think it would have been nice if there was a magnetic, you know, fill plug right there. That would have been really cool. I have a fill plug boss down here, but it's like really, I don't got. Just kind of running out of time, you know. So maybe that'll be a thing for another day. And then the four at the bottom down here, those use different ones, and there's actually 2 longs and 2 shorts. So don't put those in the wrong spot. Of course, the long ones are going in the middle, short ones to the edge. And it makes it trippy too, because the bottom plate's actually, I think, a 6-degree slope going upward. So when you're screwing them in, you think you're cross-threading them going the wrong way. Another thing I noticed about this diff cover is down in one of these corners where this plate was welded on from the manufacturer. It wasn't milled flat again, so you could set the diff cover down on something flat and rock it. So that's something I didn't really like, that I want to bring up, you know. If you're trying to get things to seal up, you know, that's something that isn't going to help. So I still got to snug it some more, but another thing I did too is behind each one of these heads I got a split lock washer that I actually took out of a Yukon diff cover kit that I was going to put on. So one thing I'm noticing too is these guys right here, if this gets really damaged by the rocks, all I can say is, holy cow, that's going to be super hard to extract those bolts. So that is something that, you know, I'm worried about too. Just thinking out loud. So, but all in all, you know, it is a nice looking piece. All right, so these are the wheel bearings. This side was loose right here. So I just got done taking it apart, preloading it back up. Make a new paint mark on there. It's easy to see if this thing, you know, it's coming loose because the lines won't line up anymore. The other side was tight. This side right here, it was just backed off and loose. So it's a good thing that I got in there and did it. Looks from the way the seal looks. It's been doing this for a little bit. So what I did was I put a little bit of a red Loctite on the outer spindle nut on there and put it back together. So let's get back to the rest of this car. But the axle assembly is coming together really nice. It's almost back together. The brakes still need to go back on, the limit straps. It needs some fluid inside the housing, you know, that kind of stuff. All right now working on brand new back brakes. Here I got some Duralast Gold lifetime warranty brake pads, and then these are, of course, these are seasonal, but these are the Duralast Gold high carbon content rotors. So I've always ran the AutoZone Duralast pads. So right now I just put on the hardware right here, and then you got, you know, stuff lubricated with this. So now it's time to get up in here. Let's finish this. Let's get us a good view of what's going on right here. So what we need to do next, we need to get this caliper. That's gonna go on like that. What we need to do next is we need to squeeze the pistons in this. So in order to do that, we're going to use a C-clamp. So in case you're wondering, these are calipers off an 05 Duramax 2500 HD diesel. So that's what these are from. So when I had an East Coast Gear Supply tube up a rear axle and put a center section in for me, I had them actually weld on the factory flange type of flanges, so I can make this still go back on. Use these stock brakes right here. That should do it. And then what we also got to do here is we need to lube up the pistons and the contact pads here. So the reason for that is we don't want to stick a brake pad to this stuff as it's being released. So right now I actually got King of the Hammers Prep episode 2 loading up right now onto YouTube. So that's going to give you content from about the last 2 to 3 weeks, you know, ago. We're still not anywhere close to being current, but I don't want to give you guys everything all at once. Nice thing about these are actually marked. This one's the outer, other one will say inner. Get that sucker in there. Go. And then the little floating pins, we need to get these lubed up too. So we're gonna take some more of this. We'll just kind of, and this is basically what the caliper floats on, is these guys. And there's 2 reasons why I'm running these still. So in the front we got the Willwood stuff, but in the back here, that was kind of weird. It just shut off. So I'm not sure how much it shut off, but anyways, I'm not sure where this left off with, but we just lubricated up the floating pins, pads going on. And like I was trying to say, there's 2 reasons why I'm still running Duramax rear 2005 brake calipers. Mainly, I like the fact that I can go to the auto parts store, I can get it. For 2, if these things were made for a diesel to tow big stuff, why wouldn't they work on a race car, you know? They're meant to have, you know, a lot of duty cycles done to them and carry a lot of weight and get hot. So there's something too, and then the parts are easily obtainable. For 3, when I was talking with Willwood on the phone a couple years ago, we did some math when we were getting the front Willwood rotors and the calipers and the pads, all that stuff done, and the master cylinders, and they basically told me, look dude, just keep this stuff, it works very well. It's going to give me a lot of surface area to work with, a good clamping force, and it sounded like the only positive thing going to the Willwood stuff would have been weight savings, you know, and that's important. But you know, to me, durability, longevity is really important too. So that's why I'm running these GM Duramax, you know, whatever stuff. So you know, I've been running these things for years, probably I think since 2011. I've had these calipers, these brackets and things on my 14-bolt housing, so I think they work just fine, you know. So anyways, that is both sides wrapped up. There's that. So now what we need to do next is the limit straps need to go back up into their holes, and then you know, these brake line little holders that I have, these things need to go back on. We need to put the battery cables back onto the batteries, and then we need some fluid in the back of this too. Okay, so what we got going on today, a lot of things. What I'm working on right now is we need a toolbox in this car. Now before, my plan was to use this area and kind of like set this box on the tubing that exists there, but kind of looking at it, I just don't think that that is the best spot to put it. So what I want to do is we're gonna take this guy we're pretty much going to set something about in this area, you know, about like that. And then the idea is once the tire's off, we can literally grab it and pull it straight out. So at least that's what I'm thinking in my head. So we're going to come back here. We got a piece of DOM tube right here. This is I think 7/8 on the OD. It's the lightest thing I could find that won't crumple like a beer can. So we're gonna have to make 2 straight pieces and weld them in there. There we go. Woo. Sounded pretty shitty.
boss. I grabbed the package Amazon delivered.
Okay, Jay.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a good day. So there's two tubes in there. I'll weld it up in there. Okay, seats are going in. Alright, there's the driver's seat. In, I got all 4 bolts in. Flat belts are in. Submarine belt. And then these guys are just gotta get tucked back, but getting progress done. And then here's kind of a sneak peek of, like, again, the plan of, putting this guy in there. That's going to be the plan on there. And then I still want to make, like, some wings that kind of come out and curve up on the edges to keep this from trying to slide out. And then one down directly here on the bottom, too. And then I got to make some sort of tabs so I can put, like, a ratchet strap or something on there. What I have here today is a really big bag of Harmon yellow racing fuel cell foam. And I got this from a best friend, Jeff Bradford. I'm really appreciative he gave me this whole bag of stuff because this is a very expensive assortment of stuff. So what we're working on today, many things, but right now I got everything in the fuel cell all put back together. I got a new pickup tube down there connecting to the hydro mat from Holley. I got the Holley new laser easy level fuel sending unit, and then I made my own special piece so we can work with the race foam so it doesn't get in the way. So I'm not going to share that because I got something in store for that, an idea, but we're going to be going and putting this foam inside that right there. All right, all the foam that I'm going to put in is in here, and I just kind of leave a little bit of a hole, just a little bit right in there, so that way the fuel neck here, as we're dumping it in, it wants to actually fill it up, and then that way the return also drops it straight down onto the pickup as well. So that's why I did that right there. So now I'm gonna put this neck back on right here, and then before I took it off, I made these 2 alignment points so I can line it up, that way the net goes back to this TMR Customs mount right here. Alright, got the bulkhead on. I just slid this guy up in there. And then again, I made some alignment points. There's a little mark there, and then this is where the bottom of this will be. I don't know if it's going to do very good, but not as close as I think it's going to get for right now. Alright, next step. Gotta get this guy lined up in there and bolted. This is one of those TMR custom brackets. Oh. I like it because it's got all the bolt positions. It's coped right here. And then they even got the folded little winged edges. It helps keep it a little bit more supportive. And it just went on super easy. It's one less thing I had to really like spend time fabricating. You know, and it had a good price too, you know, really cheap. You know, one thing I was thinking about I should have bought was those Paul Horschel signature driveline holders, those little brackets, because this year I'm actually going to pack drivelines on the car. Not one Hammers have I ever carried a driveline. I really have never. And this year I kind of want to. And I bought, I got a new set of drivelines. I actually have some spares now. They're in the mail. I had JE Reel make those ones up. Those are what I currently have. It's really nice too, because those guys, you know, they're super busy with a billion things for people's hammers, and I called them literally last week, and they were made very quickly. Just super sloppy. It's kind of weird today because it's so quiet here in the shop. This whole week has just been pure pandemonium. It's been wild in here. There's been so many customer things that needed to get taken care of, and you know, just the stuff associated with business. And I haven't really got to put a lot of time on the car this week, and this is literally leaving next Saturday, and today is Saturday. I still think I'm in better shape than last year, because you know, we put this car together in 6 weeks, and that's with tearing the other one apart. So I think we're doing pretty good ahead of time, and this was just kind of supposed to be a light tear down and paint and comb over through a few things on my list over there, and then the list kind of kept growing as I was working on this car. And there's still things to do. But that's why it's a good thing to get in and actually do the race prep, because otherwise these things, they wouldn't have been found, and they could be problems later down the road on the race prep. You know, the Hammers, it's like, this is the one where everybody wants to do really good, you know. This is the one where it starts off the season, everybody's spending the most amount of money and time on their cars, and then not just the cars, you got your tow rigs, you got your trailers, your family's involved, and you know, you got your wives and kids, you got everything, and there's a lot that goes into this one race. And the whole rest of the year, it's not quite as much pressure, but this sets the pace for what's going to happen for the rest of the season. So it's like, you know, if you want to go for series points, you really need to do well at Hammers. And not just that, it just gives you a good mental boost, you know, when you do really good at the Hammers. Even if you don't have a finish, but you did really well, gives you good confidence for going into the rest of the races for the year. And I think this is very important, and this is the time where the racers actually get the chance to showcase what we do, you know, as a whole community to the public, you know, all at once. And this is where we get a lot of attention, a lot of views and such. I think Anthony just showed up. He's coming in today to give me, I haven't had help in a while, but he's coming in today to give me a hand. I'm gonna have him do bead locks. We're gonna have fun with those.
Oh, how's it coming?
Oh, it's not you. It's Jeff. I thought it was Anthony. Anthony's supposed to be here too. Yeah. Yeah, I just got done putting that racing foam that you gave me in.
Good.
Dude, I was very happy to have that. There was a lot of weird cut pieces, and it was kind of cool to like Lego puzzle them in. And yeah, it was nice too, because I pulled out
Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, I pulled out each piece and I kind of like beat it on my arm and then blew it out with the air blower, you know, in case there was like debris and stuff from them cutting it or whatever, or if it hit the floor. And you know, there wasn't a lot of stuff in there, and then I just kind of funneled it in.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. I want you to check that.
Alright, so all those bad boys are going down to some random tire shop, and then Anthony's gonna get the inner beads broken on those, and then we're gonna recover all the race lines so we can use them on the new tires. And then here's a glimpse of some of the Coyote liners and everything. And then we actually did find a punctured hole right here, so that must have came through the tire in through the Kevlar liner and into that thing. So we're gonna try to patch that thing up. So what I'm working on right now is the roof skin. Putting this guy back on and getting this dude going. It's taking a little while, so we're gonna commence fire. All right, so we have the radiator out to do a little bit of beefing up on this little bracket right here, and then we can also paint it. And then the radiator, hey cat, the radiator's out too, because I don't even know if that's a crack actually, but anyways, it looks like right here on this edge. Yeah, there's a little bit of a crack right there. So I'm gonna get in there, and what's weird is this side, you can see that doesn't even actually touch. So I don't even think that's part of the structure. But I'm gonna still put a couple of tacks with the TIG welder right there on that. All right, so right now I'm gonna make a bracket out of this piece right here, and I'm gonna cut 2 triangles. And then if you can kind of see, you know, what's gonna happen, this will get welded underneath the bottom of this, and it'll stretch. But this is gonna actually be underneath this right here. So a little bit of a brace is what I'm up to with this. Scratch that, this blade is so dull. I didn't change it out after cutting the 14 bolt housing. So normally I'd make this on the plasma cutter. I don't have enough time to do all that. So we're gonna cut it with the cutter disc. Let's go. Alright, so what I got here is I have my radiator that is very abused. So I want to show you a couple things. I have this big old hole here and here. And this is from, I think 4 years ago at King of the Hammers. We put some brand new Flexolite fans on this thing and literally hadn't even drove the car or went on to qualifying. One of the fans literally shattered and through the blades were just sticking in this thing. So that's what led us to actually go over to the small fans. And as you can see, these things are holding tight. So what I'm doing today is down here on this corner, you can see this weird little dent. And what happened in the past is on the last car, the Trent Fab chassis that I had, it started whacking into a piece of the chassis. And so what I did, so it just wouldn't rupture, was I slathered JB Weld in there. I didn't have time at the race just to pull this out and try to weld it up. So today I scraped off all the JB Weld, which was all around this neck, all here, and it covered this cap right here. So I got it as clean as I can, and I'm gonna weld this up a little bit better, and then we're also gonna get in here and address this. You can see that a little bit better. And again, I don't know if this actually connects into this tank. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know 100%, because over on, well, there's a chunk on the back side of this. It's not actually connected, so I think it's just a cap, but nonetheless, I don't like that, so I'm gonna try to put a little bit of weld right there too. So every time I work on the car, I want to try to find something to fix so it doesn't become a problem down the road. Let's see if this is any good. Alright. My TIG welding skills are really not all that. I'm still learning. So what I've already done is acetone wiped my rods, filler rods, and then I cleaned this, acetoned this really well, and then swapped over to this number 6 cup. So I run a smaller cup on an aluminum weld. It seems to work better. And it's always kind of crappy welding on something that had fluid in it, just because it's going to start steaming. I'm going to be breathing that stuff in. It's not fun at all. Try to put some weight on this a little bit. Alright. Not grounded. Oh. It's not grounded. Brandon moved my table 2 days ago, and I didn't look and hook up the ground cable. Whoops. Crap all in that already, you can just tell right away. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen, because we got coolant in here, we have JB Weld that was on there, we have tons of grease from the race car. So instantly just soot and crud was just pulling right. I didn't even need to do anything. Yeah, now already we got like the coolant steam coming right out of this pipe right here. already got a good little tack over that weird corner. I think that should take care of what was going on there. Now what I don't remember is I don't remember if it was leaking around this neck. I really just don't remember, because there was JB weld all around. It's hard to tell. But let's find out. Couple good dabs on there. Still getting a little bit of crud out of it though. Got that little corner done and a little bit more around there. Alright, I got this thing welded up. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but what I also added too is a couple little plates right here on the insides of this, because sometimes the radiator was sliding around, and these are kind of just some bash guards. So nothing fancy, but it is something. So I got the top area up here, got that, you know, tacked back together, and then I kind of went and did a double pass around this neck. I fixed that corner. So now it's time to pick this big old thing up and shove it back in the truck. See if I can get you guys a view. think it's in. I just gotta look a little bit more. I'm not 100% sure. It's in the track where it's supposed to be. Feels like it. Yeah. Feels a lot better, so we're back in place, set in there, and then I gotta put my little cap up here on the top, and then the radiator hose is back on. All right, Houston, we have a problem. So I had to pull this radiator back out twice. Once it had a little dribble on the water neck where I was trying to repair, fix that, put it back in, and then I started noticing on, this would have been the driver's side, it just started dripping, you know, after sitting for about 20 minutes. What's going on? Right there, it's hard to tell, but where this part of the tank goes on right there, that thing is broken, and I can see coolant and stuff, just, it's running out right there where my nail is. And I can actually see what is some stop leak that I had in this thing running out, coming out. So I got a big old mess all over the ground of coolant and all this good stuff. So what I'm gonna do, this is a radiator that I modified from Champion Radiator. So what I did was I drew down all of my dimensions on this thing, and then I actually went to their website and found a radiator that is really very, very close to the dimensions that mine is. And so here's what we found right there. This is the guy, and this will work. And what I did on mine was, mine wasn't a dual pass, the neck was over here. I believe that when I ordered mine, it was for a Lincoln Continental. It just seemed to be the dimensions I needed. And then what I did is right where this arrow is, where they have here, I put a slice and put a plate and made it a dual pass. And then I moved the water neck over to the side coming out right here. So this radiator, all the specs are just about exactly what I have. And I gotta call them tomorrow at 8:30 when they open and see if we can get this thing like overnighted to us, because I still have to take the lower water neck out of that, cut it off, and then put a cap over, TIG weld it shut, and then coming right out of the side, I need to stick it, you know, 90 degrees from where it's at so it'll fit my car, because the fuel cell is in the way right there. So I'm kind of hung up right now on that, and slightly a little bit frustrated because this is, I spent all day today working on this thing, trying to like weld up some of the stuff from basically where the fan went through the first time, fixing things in the corners where it was bashing on the other chassis that it was in. And I mean, that's okay. I mean, all in all, this is a good thing that this is happening right now, because this would have failed, you know, out on the course, whether it was the Hammers or NorCal Rock Racing, it would have failed. So the nice thing is this radiator is really inexpensive. I mean, it's $200. So you can't get a custom radiator for that price hardly these days. And I've been running these Champion radiators now since 2013, and this is my second one. This will be going on my third. So really, I get a lot of life out of these things, and it's not like I'm buying $1,000, you know, Ron Davis radiator or a Griffin or something, you know. I mean, that would be cool to have, but these things work just fine. It keeps the car very cool. So with all the abuse this thing has took, it got a good life out of there. It's did me well. So I'm glad I noticed it dripping now after filling it up, and I was getting ready to run the air bleed on the thing and vacuum suck all the bubbles out of the coolant system. But I think today I'm ready to take a break and go home, just kind of over this stuff. And I want to see if I can get this thing here, because on their shipping it says 2 to 6 days from FedEx, and I need to see about overnight shipping or 2-day shipping instead of 2 to 6. So Stay tuned. I got more coming for you. I'm just burned out for the day.